Good afternoon, everyone. Sharice Jervis Hill here, President and founder of Events to Remember and PR to Remember. I am excited to bring to you today for our Coffee with Cher podcast listeners, the amazing Leslie Allicks from the Tea Experience. Leslie, welcome to Coffee with Cher.
Thank you, Sharice. I appreciate you. Thank you for this time.
I am excited to talk to you, my friend. So, our tradition, we always start a little cheers, and today we are cheersing it up to some tea because we have our tea lady here, Miss Leslie. So, cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers to you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, guys, Leslie sent some cute little tea treats. Look at this. Can you guys see this? Yum, yum, yum.
I can't believe you got the box so quickly.
Yum,
I'm
yum,
happy.
So we'll get into these amazing teas that you have. So Leslie, let's get started. So tell me about this tea experience. Tell me about, how you got started. Talk to us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay. So the Tea Experience is a full service tea party catering business. We also have an online presence for the retail sale of loose leaf teas, tea accessories, and tea gift boxes and baskets and tea themed type fun accessories. Originally, the Tea Experience is a business model that was converted from when I originally had a brick and mortar space in Pelham, New York called Lola's Tea House. There it was full service afternoon tea every day. Folks would come in. It was also a very community welcoming business where we would host a number of events, knitting clubs, book clubs, open mic night at Lola's Tea House. And we were very happy and content, very successful there for about 5 or 6 years. And then I had to close Lola's Tea House and change the business model because life got in the way. Lola, who is my mom, was she at that point she was in her 80s. My dad had passed away, and I had to move her in with me and just kind of readjust my life and my priorities. And so we had to close the brick and mortar space down, convert it into what its current business model is, and that's a mobile tea party catering business where we will come to you instead of you coming to the brick and mortar space. We'll come to you, your backyard, a venue of your choice, and help you host tea parties. And so when you said entrepreneurial journey, I still sometimes think and, kind of shake my head that I'm actually an entrepreneur or considered an entrepreneur because I had really no aspirations to be an entrepreneur, to be totally honest. I'm a registered nurse by healthcare and background. I got into the entrepreneur business and my journey was because of my dad. He was the tea drinker of the family.
Okay.
And my dad's side of the family is originally from St. Croix, Virgin Islands. And it was, my dad used to have 3 cups of tea a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He'd probably have a cup of coffee in the morning, but the rest of the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, after that cup of coffee was his tea.
Okay.
And it wasn't until he was diagnosed with terminal colon cancer. And so, back in 2005, 2006, I had like a whole year with him to kind of spend with him. And he would, review his life and talk about things and still drink his tea. And then he started sharing with me why he drank tea all the time. And it was then that I found out that because St. Croix was ruled by England when he was a little boy, he and the Allicks family, my, ancestral family on, that side of the family, had inherited that tenet of drinking tea. So all his sisters and brothers, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, they all kind of had this ritual of drinking tea. So it wasn't until then that I find out that my dad was such a big tea drinker and the history behind why. And in order to pay homage to him,
Mm,
is kind of how I got into the entrepreneurial spirit. I wanted to find a way to pay homage to his tea drinking, and we had teacups and saucers in the house. And so, when I would go to visit him, I would talk to him about the possibility of opening a tea house. And
mm-hmm.
so he loved it. He loved the idea. And so every day when I would go visit, I would talk to him about what my plans were about opening the tea house. And he didn't live long enough, survive to for me to open it, to see it
Mm-hmm.
open. But he was involved and knew about it all the way up until when we opened up until 2007. But he had passed away in like June of 2006.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of how I always say to everyone that tea is part of my ancestral journey. And
Yes.
that's kind of where the journey took me towards entrepreneurship.
Oh, well, I love that, and I'm sure your dad would be so proud of you today just to see, um, you know, brick and
Hmm.
mortar to what you're doing now. And even now with your boxes, shipping the boxes where people can have tea, not just the brick and mortar anymore. Now it's like people can have tea anywhere across the United States,
Yes,
anywhere.
I
Um,
agree. Yeah.
and the fact that, you have these adorable like kits that come right to your door. I think, he would just be so proud of his baby girl to see what you're doing today. So
Thank
I
you.
think that that's a beautiful tribute to your dad for sure.
Mhm. Thank you.
So, I mean, I always like to ask this question, what sets you apart from others that are doing somewhat of the same kind of business model? But I feel like I don't know a lot of other people that are kind of doing what you're doing. I think you really have trailed a trailblazer on your own. I mean, is there other kind of any other organizations that are kind of similar or have a similar model to you that, I don't know of any?
Not at all. There are a few, and not very many, at least in
Mm-hmm.
Westchester County, that actually are tea houses that
Mm-hmm.
actually would offer and serve high tea on a regular basis. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there are like hotels and stuff and specialty areas, and that will do it on a special occasion or a one-off, but there aren't a lot of brick and mortar spaces that
Mm-hmm.
actually offer high tea service on a regular basis, and B, there aren't really. I think we're the only niched tea party catering business that is what I call mobile, that will kind of come to you and help you host. And so we've kind of have a unique position as far as a business within this area in this county.
Awesome, awesome. So you talked a little bit about kind of your journey, where you started, the reason behind it. Now you're doing so many different things with the T-Mobile catering and your subscription boxes. Tell me a little bit more about the subscription boxes or anything new that's happening at the T experience.
The subscription boxes is actually a relatively new product line for the tea
Okay.
experience. It was born, believe it or not, out of COVID.
Mm,
When COVID hit, tea parties were shut down, as you would imagine,
yeah.
completely.
Mm-hmm.
And so we at the tea experience we're at a zero generating revenue position, and an indefinite at that time
Mm-hmm.
position where nobody could actually have a tea party or a gathering of large numbers of people.
You're speaking to the choir, woman. You're speaking to the
And,
choir.
yes, that's right. With all the events that you probably had to cancel, yeah, yeah. So you definitely feel my pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so surprisingly, as I sat here trying to figure out like what will be my next steps, how are we going to kind of keep and maintain the presence of mind of the tea experience
Mm-hmm.
and teas and stuff, quietly some of my customers would email me and say, Leslie, either they were ill or a loved one was ill. Could you send, or do you have any comforting teas that I could
Mm.
send myself or for a family member? what do you recommend? And so, I'd email them back and say, oh, we have chamomile, we have peppermint, we have this, we have that. And they're like, oh, can you mail it instead of to me, to them?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. As a business person, you say, yes, you figure it
Mm-hmm.
out later, but you say
Yeah.
yes. And then as time went on, folks started asking me to add things. I see you have honey spoons on your website. Can you put a honey spoon in the box? And can you get her a card, a get well soon card? Can you put some Tylenol or some cough drops in the box? And you
Mm-hmm.
say, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely can. You go run to the stores and find these things for these folks. And we started providing those types of COVID-like boxes, get well
Mm-hmm.
soon boxes. And then as COVID started lifting, and you look at the calendar, and folks were asking now for birthday boxes and get well soon boxes. And then I'm looking at the calendar, Mother's Day, Father's Day,
Mm-hmm.
holidays. And I'm thinking maybe we could do this, as a regular thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we tested it out. We sent out surveys, asked a couple of customers what would they think, sent a couple samples of boxes. Everyone seemed to have loved the idea. And so my what we call simplicity subscription boxes were born.
Love it.
So you talk about, I the word pivot is somewhat cliche at this
Mm-hmm.
point. It's kind of overused, and but truly that was an opportunity for the tea experience to pivot.
And such a great pivot. You've done boxes for me for a couple of events. I remember one box you did for us for a client where it was kind of a box that was curated with different items from small business owners, and
Mm-hmm.
it was for a virtual event, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone loved it. We had some tea and we had a couple of other items in there, and it was such a
Mm-hmm.
great box, and you did a beautiful job. So
I
um,
even got thank you cards from some of the guests.
how
Like
sweet
they
is
saw
that?
my return address on the mailing label, and
Mm-hmm.
folks were emailing and sending me thank you
Oh,
cards. And I was like, oh, like that was so sweet. So I'm happy to hear that that was a success.
no, thank you. So I know that your boxes are a wonderful treat for how excited I was to share these. But
I'm so glad it got there in time. I'm like,
yes, but I'm sure
yay.
people that get your box that filled with all of the wonderful treats is such a lovely treat. So I like to keep these nice and tight. So as we wrap up, I want you to tell me, because this podcast is really geared towards entrepreneurs. So we have some listeners that are brand new entrepreneurs, they're just starting their business. So I want you to give some advice to someone who's just started. We have entrepreneurs who might have started their business a few years ago and kind of having a rough time and just need
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
words to kind of just reshift um, what they're going through. So,
Mm-hmm.
Leslie, you've been doing this for a long time. You're really successful at it. Any advice you like to share?
I would. And actually, a lot of this advice that I'm about to share was kind of confirmed for me. I think that I was a member of, or I got accepted in the Goldman Sachs Blacks in Business
Mm-hmm.
program. And
Yeah.
so one of the luncheons,
Congratulations.
thank you. One of the lunches events that we had during that program were with a lot of the partners at Goldman Sachs.
Mm-hmm.
And each partner was asked to stand up and give some word of advice to the small business cohort, the women who were in the program with me. And
Mm-hmm.
I jotted a few down, and I actually, the ones that I jotted down really, really, really um, mean something to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to share just a couple of them. There's a slew of them, but there's a couple. So first and foremost, whether you're a new business owner or a startup, be authentic, be
Mm-hmm.
real with yourself and who you are and what your mission and goal is for this business and for yourself. Play your own game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try and copy somebody else. You see someone on Instagram with 5 million followers, and you're going to copy them to get 5 million followers. And by the way, that, just because they have 5 million followers does not necessarily equal revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So They could have 5 million followers, but zero profit and revenue from those 5 million. So,
Yep.
Play your own game. Give yourself grace. Everybody's got all kinds of obstacles and challenges now with business and being, a business owner and staying profitable and staying afloat. So give yourself, we're all human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to stumble along the way. I mean, I was heartbroken when I had to close down Lola's Tea House, but I knew that I had to, and it just opened up other doors for me. So I knew that I had to do it, but I had to give myself that grace and space to be able to take it in and rethink and be able to kind of do what I needed to do for my family and for myself.
Yeah.
And the last and more important thing is to listen to your customers. Listen, the business is yours, but the business is all about them, your customers. If you don't listen and you kind of go along the way you think things should be offered, you may kind of go down the wrong path. So, and that was just kind of confirmed for me with the boxes. If I didn't listen, if I didn't read those emails, if I didn't call back or ask for more information about what exactly it is that they want me to do, the simplicity boxes wouldn't be as successful as they are. So listen to your customers.
Great nuggets that you shared. And I love the last one because I'm sure every entrepreneur can relate. I think of my service offerings, right? Our whole PR division started because of someone said, hey, can you guys do what you're doing for events for me? And it was like, ding dong, so your
Say
customers
yes.
really do.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, they really do give you such amazing insight. And I think that is really great information that you shared. So, Leslie, tell everyone where they can find you.
So we have a website. We're on Instagram and Facebook. The website is theteaexperienceny.com. And so is the Facebook page, and the Instagram has underscores in it. _T_experience_ny.
Okie dokie. Well, Leslie, thank you for being with me this afternoon with Coffee with Cher. I had a great time with you. Thank you
I did too.
For the lovely tea. I will continue my tea journey. So
I hope so. Since this was coffee with Cher, hopefully we can have some tea with Cher today.
Yes, we made an exception to the rule today.
Thank you.
So, all right. Well, thank you, and we will see you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Of course.